this week's programme. In the news this week, yet again we're sat here wondering, will we get snow tomorrow or not? Well, I'm not able to give you a clear answer on that, but what I do know is if we are to get snow, the high risk time is between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I guess we'll just all have to wait and see what happens when we get up in the morning. Also hot off the press in White Regis today, a number of households have been affected by a power loss. A fault in an underground cable feeding a local substation took out the supply to a number of houses. The White Regis transmitter taking TV programmes, local radio and some mobile phone services offline. Power went off about 11:15 this morning, and SSE, the supplier, were working to get all services restored by 4:30 today, and I believe they have all been restored as far as I've been able to find out. So hopefully you're able to join us this evening and you've got power back on if you were affected by that outage today. Some things which are good news this week. The Noth Fort's team of volunteers and staff have just been given 2 reasons to celebrate. On Thursday, let's put the logo up, there we go. On Thursday, the 4th of February, the Noth Fort won the Small Visitor Attraction of the Year category in the Dorset Tourism Awards. This comes on top of Dorset Council awarding the Noth Fort its top-tier revenue grant, the first time the heritage attraction has been included in Dorset Council or any other predecessor local authorities' grant schemes. Noth Fort's entry for the Dorset Tourism Awards highlighted how its team had responded to the COVID-19 pandemic to ensure the attraction could open to the public in a safe way. Its submission to the Dorset Council detailed how the Noth Fort would use the revenue grant to develop the museum's displays, enhance its schools programme and support heritage initiatives across the area. The Dorset Council grant was £20,000 per year. Noth Fort Chairman James Farquharson said, "We are so proud to have won the Gold Award for Small Visitor Attraction at the Dorset Tourism Awards. I would like to acknowledge the generations of local volunteers whose hard work over the last 40 years has provided the strong foundation we need to survive, as well as our current team of staff and volunteers who put in place the new ways of working very quickly so that we could open safely." The Dorset Council revenue grant will help us develop the museum to deliver even greater success in the future. It's a vote of confidence in the Noth Fort and Weymouth to be a big part of Dorset's economy renewal coming out of the pandemic. And I'm sure we will hear in future programmes when the Noth Fort is reopened and welcoming members of the public back. And they certainly have done a lot of hard work at the fort to both enhance it as a visitor attraction and to make it safe at this particular time. So well done to them for winning those awards. Dorset Police are asking the public's help investigating a burglary at Weymouth College. They've issued some CCTV footage of a suspect, and you can see that up on the screen now. The incident occurred at around 8:10 a.m. on Saturday the 30th of January, that's last Saturday. A man entered the college grounds and used a stone slab to break a window panel before entering the building. It's not believed anything was damaged. Now the stone is quite distinctive, and the stone is up on the screen now. Police Constable Will Harris of Weymouth Police said, "We are continuing to make inquiries into this burglary and we've obtained CCTV footage of the suspect. I'd urge anyone with information as to his identity to contact them." They're also releasing an image of the distinctive stone slab that was used to break the window, as it's not believed to have come from the college site itself, and appealing to anyone who recognises it to get in touch. So if you recognise that stone slab that's up on the screen now, it is quite distinctive, or you recognise who this might be, you are urged to give Dorset Police a ring on 101 or to provide the information anonymously via Crime Stoppers on free phone 0800 555 111. That's 0800 555 111 or on 101 direct to Dorset Police. The NHS, where's the NHS? There's the NHS. The NHS have reported that there are currently more than 20 sites delivering the COVID-19 vaccinations across Dorset, including GP-led vaccination services, pharmacies, and the large vaccination centre at the Bournemouth International Centre. And over 110,000 vaccinations have so far been delivered to people across Dorset. Yes, 110,000 vaccinations. How amazing is that with all the work that's gone into delivering those? The COVID-19 vaccination programme in Dorset has made a strong start, with the most vulnerable being vaccinated first according to the national guidelines. Sites have been chosen in order to deliver the vaccination in the most effective way, enabling as many people as possible to get protected in a short time as possible. Now, this week they've issued advice specifically on travelling safely to get your vaccination. They are suggesting that where possible, please use your own transport. If you're not able to do so and are relying on someone to transport you, use someone within your support bubble if possible. This will reduce your risk of catching or spreading the virus and reduce the risk to other people within your household or bubble. If you need to use public transport or a known COVID-secure taxi service, please stick to the current guidance. For example, socially distance where possible, wear a mask and make sure you use hand sanitizer as you get in and out of the vehicle. More guidance on the use of public transport is available on the government's COVID-19 website. So if you just put covid19.gov.uk and travel, you'll get that website up with the information on how to travel safely. And most importantly, travel to a vaccination appointment is considered an essential journey, so you can't get in trouble for travelling to get your vaccination. Dr. Karen Kirkham, and we've got a picture of Karen, who's a Weymouth GP, but is the lead on the clinical commissioning group, said it's really important for people to follow the national guidelines when travelling to your COVID-19 vaccination, both to protect yourself and those around you from the virus. We hope the advice issued will be helpful to those who've been invited for their vaccinations and are planning how they will get to their appointment. All of Dorset's 18 primary care networks, that's groups of GP practices, are now offering the vaccine. These services involve groups of GPs working together as a primary care network to vaccinate the most vulnerable to their collective patients in one location. This means that you may not be vaccinated by your local GP. You may be required to travel to a different site nearby to where you live. In addition, there is the large vaccination centre at Bournemouth International Centre, and we'll be coming back to talk about that later, where several people are also being asked to get their jab. If you already have an appointment through your GP at a local vaccination centre and you get contacted again to go to a regional centre, please make sure you inform them and make sure you attend your local appointment. So there we go, that's vaccinations. That's very active in the community at the moment. Going back to Dorset Police, we've mentioned Dorset Police once already tonight, but new figures have been released this week that show that Dorset Police has seen a 6.1% drop in recorded crime. Data released nationally by the Office of National Statistics shows the force has continued to see a drop in overall crime for the third consecutive quarter. In early 2020, Dorset Police received a good grading from Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Constabulary for Fire and Rescue Services and Constabulary for accurate crime recording, which means the reduction of 6.1% during the 12 months to the end of September is a real reduction and gives us the 9th lowest crime rate in England and Wales. A reduction within some crime types has been very likely a result of the COVID-19 situation and national restrictions requiring people to stay at home during the first lockdown. However, even with some of the crime returning to expected levels during the summer months, the overall reduction enabled the force to proactively focus on the crimes that affect the most vulnerable members of our communities, such as domestic abuse, child sexual exploitation and county lions, which is the drugs trafficking being brought into the area. Deputy Chief Constable Scott Chilp said Dorset remains one of the safest counties in the country to live and visit. Reducing crime is important to everyone, and I hope this latest reduction will help to reassure our communities that we are working with them and our partners to focus on what matters. There we go, that's from Dorset Police. And finally from Dorset Police tonight, they're appealing for information after a man was bitten by a dog in St Thomas's Street, Weymouth. The incident occurred at around 5 p.m. on Monday the 25th of January in St Thomas's Street. The victim, a man aged in his 80s who is partially sighted, was walking to the post office when he saw a man with a dog that was wearing a harness. As they approached each other, the dog bit his hand, causing it to bleed. The victim was then approached by a woman who said that the same dog had also bitten her. A short time later, he saw the same man sitting on the steps by the beach and approached him. He told the man that his dog had bitten him, but he did not get the man's details. The dog owner is described as white, around 5 feet 9 inches tall, and well built with grey hair. He wore dark glasses, spoke with a local accent, and walked with a white stick. The dog the dog is believed to be an assistance dog and is described as light in colour, medium size, but not the usual Labrador type typically used by visually impaired people. If you've got any information, obviously Dorset Police would like to track down and talk to this person. Do give them a call on 101 or again by Crime Stoppers on free phone 0800 555 111. So there we go, that's our headlines this week. I thought for our first story tonight we would try something a little bit different, and this might not work, but let's give it a go. Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Service have launched an updated version of its online hazard house. You know that they have previously had safety centres that children and adults can go and visit to learn about home safety, etc. But they've now developed a service online, and it has a 360-degree virtual tour that highlights the importance of fire safety. This bespoke educational tool is designed so that both children and adults can really think about safety in their own homes. Yasmin Ellis, who's the education coordinator from Dorset Fire and Rescue Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue, I have to call it that now because of course they've merged. Within the hazard house, a number of fire risks and other dangers have been placed in strategic locations in each room, and the challenge is to locate them all. Each hazard has a tag providing either an audio or a text pop-up box to explain what the risk is and how to make it safe. There's a useful countdown in each room so you know how many hazards you have still to find, and a hint tool if you get stuck. The aim of the hazard house is to embed an awareness of fire safety in a fun and interactive way. Many risks, such as overloaded sockets, are often not understood, while other dangers may be clear to adults but not children. Yasmin said this is a resource that our education team will use, but we want anyone who wants to know more about fire safety or hazards in the home to visit the website and maybe think about other things they can do in their home to be safe. For example, do they have an escape plan? Does the household follow a bedtime routine? Are there working smoke alarms, and are they tested regularly? Well, I thought what we'd do is we'd try and go over to the Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue website and have a look at the hazard house. So hopefully this will work. So hopefully I'm going to pop that up on the screen, and hopefully I'll still be on the screen and you'll still be able to hear me. So there we go. I think you've got me. I think you can still hear me. I'm going to turn the desktop sound on, and you can see now the hazard house website. So we're going to click on the button here and enter the hazard house, and you'll see we'll go into the house. It's hopefully going to come up. There we go. And we can actually now walk around the house. We can look around, we can move around, and we can, as you can see, you can do 360 all the way around the house, and you can walk into the rooms, and then you can pick something that might be a hazard. Let's have a look, see what we've got. There's an oven there. Let's go towards the oven. What have we got here? Oh, what have I done? I've gone up the screen. Hang on. I just want to show you one of these working. Let's get it back centered on the screen. Let's have a look around. And there's a microwave oven. Now you can see on a microwave oven that we've got something in tin foil in the microwave oven, and as we get close to it, then the little thing pops up. So what we do is we click on that.
Never place metallic items such as tin foil in a microwave oven. They will spark and can quickly cause an electrical fire. The top of the microwave should be kept clear so the microwave can cool itself and stay at the right temperature.
So there you go, that's how it works. You look around the house, you find a hazard, and then you can click on it. Is that one there? There is.
Keep the hob area clean and clear. Fatty deposits from cooking can quickly build up and catch fire. Nothing should be stored around the hob area. Around half of all house fires start with cooking accidents, so never leave your cooking unattended and check you have turned the hob off once you have finished cooking. When you are cooking, turn pan handles to the side to ensure small children can't reach them.
So there you go, that just is typical explanation of how it works. But if you look up to the top of the screen here, you can see there's 7 rooms remaining to visit. We're in the kitchen, and there's still 8 hazards to find in the kitchen. So it can be a bit of a quiz, it can be a bit of a competition at home, either for adults to go through or for children. And we're learning at the same time. So that can be found on www.dwfire.org.uk. Visit our hazard house. So why not give it a go? Why not pop along to the Dorset Wiltshire Fire and Rescue Hazard House and see if you can learn something. See if you can track down all those hazards in the hazard house. Right, I'm going to pop back into the studio view now, hopefully. Oh, there we go. And I think I've still got the microphone on. Goodness, that worked. There we go. That was a new one to try this week, just to show you that website live on there this evening. So, moving on, we're now going to catch up with our intrepid lockdown walkers to see what they've been up to this week. You'll remember last week they'd achieved their Land's End to John O'Groats target, and they were thinking of the journey back. So we go over to Janet now for an update on our intrepid walkers.
Hello everyone, it's time for our next report on our lockdown walk. We've had some new walkers join us in John O'Groats. I'm not quite sure. Now we have Sheila, Malcolm and Diana helping us with our walking. This would be good. We should get home in no time with some extra walkers. We started the week in John O'Groats and then made our first walk to Inverness. Inverness is a city on Scotland's northeast coast where the River Ness meets the Moray Firth. It's the largest city and the culture capital of the Scottish Highlands. We decided to have a look at Loch Ness. In fact, we walked all the way round it. Well, some of us walked all the way round it. Ali decided to swim, as is his custom, and met a friend as he swam across the water. It was, of course, Nessie, the famous monster which is said to inhabit Loch Ness. It's often described as a large, long-necked, and with one or more humps protruding from the water. Although people have suspected that there is a monster in Loch Ness for hundreds of years, it has been very hard to prove. Until now, we have the virtual proof with our photograph of Ali and the Loch Ness Monster. Incidentally, the Loch Ness Monster is the one on the left of the picture. We then walked on to Aberdeen, a large city on the east coast of Scotland, where the rivers Don and Dee meet. There is an old city which was built around its cathedral, and a new city beyond it. Heather Hicks became our guide in Aberdeen because she knows it well, having family up there. She said it was called the Granite City because of all the stone that was quarried there. It's the same stone as was used for the building of the Houses of Parliament and the Thames Embankment, and used in Trafalgar Square. She took us around the cathedral, which is dedicated to St Macca, and showed us what a wealthy city it was due to the oil and the gas that was being found in the North Sea. But it is a place known for its good air and is one of the safest cities in Scotland. They speak a dialect there called Doric, which Heather has some difficulty understanding. It was a lovely town, and we were really quite reluctant to leave it. But we must keep on walking. And now is the time to find out where we ended up this week. Let's see Jeff's report. Well, we are doing well. Those extra walkers are making all the difference, not to mention the swimmers. And the round of golf that we had at Glen Eagles was helpful too. I wonder where we'll end up next week. To find out, you'll have to join me for the news at the same time next Saturday. Bye for now.
Okay, well, let me apologise if the sound on the earlier report was quite quiet. I think when we were trying to do the Dorset and Wiltshire Fire and Rescue demonstration, I think the sound from the live feed got sort of reduced because of the website we're connecting to. It's the first time we tried to do that and have the studio microphone live as well as playing the website live as well. And I know in that last report something happened with the sound synchronisation, and Janet's mouth was a little bit out of sync with the sound. I'm not quite sure what's happened there, but unfortunately we do get a bit of a technical problems sometimes some weeks, but most of the time we're okay. Let's hope we continue okay tonight. But thank you to Janet, the Walkers, and Jeff for the graphics and the progress report tonight. Well, moving on, last week we were talking about helping the RSPB with their Great Garden Birdwatch. I don't know whether you got involved with that and whether you were able to watch out for the birds and to do a report. But this week there's another counting project that we're going to tell you about and ask for your help with. Again, it requires you to look at things that are in the sky, but this time much higher, and it involves the stars.
Dark and starry skies are a special part of our countryside. Nothing beats looking upwards to see velvety blackness, with the twinkling constellations as far as the eye can see. Our buildings and streetlights emit light, though, and this can affect our view of truly dark skies. I am sure we all want to make sure that we can continue to enjoy starlit nights. This is one of the things that's important to CPRE, the Countryside Charity. You may remember them as the Campaign to Protect Rural England. CPRE need your help in measuring what effect light is having on our views of the galaxy. This week, from today through to the 14th of February, the CPRE are asking you all to join with them on their Star Count project. So what is Star Count? Well, the best way to see how many stars we can all see in the sky is to count them. So CPRE are asking people from all across the country to become citizen scientists and look heavenwards from home for one night. Join in by choosing a clear night between tonight and the 14th of February, looking up at the constellation of Orion, and let CPRE know how many stars you can spot. This year, CPRE are particularly asking people to take part from home. You can stargaze from your garden, balcony, doorstep, or even a bedroom window. CPRE are giving plenty of support on how to do this via their website. And once you've done your star spotting, you can use a simple online form to quickly and easily send them your count. And they will then get busy with the number crunching. Your results from Star Count will help CPRE make a map of where star spotters are enjoying deep, dark skies by showing on a map where light pollution is most serious. They can work with local councils and others to decide what to do about it. Here is a map of the 2020 results and what they discovered last year. As we zoom in on Dorset and then through to Weymouth, and finally to White Regis, you can see that there were very few submissions. And the red dots indicate a high level of light pollution. So why not try and join in this year and see if we can increase the number of results from White Regis and the wider Weymouth? In our household, we'll be having a go and we'll be reporting back next week how we get on. So how can you take part in Star Count this year? Here is the CPRE's top tips for a brilliant Star Count evening. Remember first that the count has to be done between tonight and the 14th of February, so choose your night. Keep an eye on the weather forecast for the week ahead. Remember your safety and health are the most important things, so stay at home for your Star Count this year. Pick the clearest night for your count with no haze or clouds, then wait until after 7 p.m. so that the sky is really dark. Turn off all the lights in your house too to make it easier to see the stars. Next, look south into the night sky. Find the Orion constellation with its 4 corners and belt. Take a few moments to let your eyes adjust, then count the number of stars you can see within the rectangle formed by the 4 corner stars. You can count the 3 stars in the middle, the belt, but not the corner stars. Make a note of the number of stars seen with the naked eye. You shouldn't need to use binoculars or a telescope, and then submit your count using the CPRE's online form. Share your experiences and photos with others on social media using the hashtag #StarCount. And don't forget to check back on the CPRE website in the spring to see the national results and how your contribution and your area compares to the rest of the country. For more information, for detailed instructions, and for the form to submit the results, pop along to the CPRE website. Why not also think about taking some photos of the night sky when you do your count and send them in to us so we can look at them next week? Send them in to news@whiteregis.tv. Happy star counting, and let's see how you get on.
There we go. So that's what we'll be up to one evening this week, and I hope you'll partake in that as well, because these national surveys really do rely on people at a local level getting involved and helping with the surveys and providing that very, very useful information into the CPRE for them to plot on that chart so that we can have a look later in the year. If you want some more information, it is all on the CPRE website at www.cpre.org.uk with the sheets and the reporting and the instructions of how to get involved and how to undertake the count. Today is the 69th anniversary of the death of King George VI and the succession of Queen Elizabeth II to the throne. Janet's going to look back at those events in 1952 and forward to the platinum anniversary of the Queen's accession to the throne, which we will mark this time next year.
Hello. One of my earliest memories as a child of about 4 was being with my mother as she chatted to her neighbour over the fence. This was not unusual, but what was unusual was that my neighbour was in floods of tears, and this did alarm me somewhat. The cause of her distress was the death of King George VI. He was well loved and only 56, so his death caused great distress to many, But my more pragmatic mother did soothe me by saying that she thought so many tears was perhaps a bit excessive. It was February the 6th, 1952, and after a long illness, King George had died in his sleep at the royal estate of Sandringham. The one who this news affected most of all was, of course, Princess Elizabeth, as she was then. She had been well loved by her father and loved him greatly. And now, as the oldest of the king's two daughters, she was next in line to the throne and would succeed him. In fact, she succeeded him that day, straight after his death. She was in Kenya at the time, and her life must have changed beyond recognition. So now the Queen is going into her 70th year, the longest reigning monarch we have ever known. She'll be marking it at Windsor rather than Sandringham because of the pandemic. But next year will be a real celebration. The Culture Secretary, Oliver Dowden, has already announced plans to mark Her Majesty the Queen's Platinum Jubilee in June 2022, when the UK will celebrate in a blockbuster way with a weekend of celebrations. For this will be the first time any British monarch has achieved this milestone. So we can all look forward to a special 4-day Jubilee weekend when we'll put on a spectacular once-in-a-generation show that mixes the best of British ceremonial and splendour with cutting-edge art and technology. It will bring the entire nation and the Commonwealth together in a fitting tribute to Her Majesty's reign. In fact, 2022 is going to be a very significant year in Britain, as we'll also host the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games and the Festival UK 2022. So, if after year 2020 and 2021 we're all feeling a bit grim, this is something to look forward to. The year 2022 is going to be spectacular. Roll on 2022. The 70 years of the Queen's reign have been years of great change. Let's see some pictures which show how the world has changed in the last 70 years. What we are going to be celebrating in 2022. I'm really looking forward to it. Bye for now.
Thanks, Janet, and giving us the heads up on this time next year when we'll be celebrating the Queen's Platinum Jubilee as she now enters her 70th year, but it'll be a full 70 years this time next year. So something to look forward to. Well, let's hope next year is going to be a good year and we can actually make up for 2020 and 2021. Moving on, we mentioned earlier in the programme about the vaccinations that people have been having and the fact that 110,000 have already had their vaccinations. Some of you watching tonight will have already had your vaccination, which is really good news. But there's lots more people out there to have their vaccinations, and it's going to be going on for many, many months, probably towards the end of the year, and then we might have to start again. Within Weymouth and Portland, if you're called for vaccination, you may get contacted by your GP practice and asked to attend the Primary Care Vaccination Centre in Weymouth, where all the GP practices are working together. You might get contacted by one of the hospital hubs and asked to attend either Dorchester or Yeovil Hospital. And you may also get contacted by the NHS nationally by telephone, text or even a letter and asked to attend a regional vaccination hub. The nearest one for us is in Bournemouth at the Bournemouth International Centre. Whether it's the local GP vaccination centre, it's one of the hospitals or is the regional hub, they all work very similar together in the same sort of way. It's just different lists of people being routed to different centres. The most important thing is that, of course, all those that need to get vaccinated need to have their vaccination. So, if you haven't been, maybe you're wondering how a visit to one of the vaccination centres work. And this evening we're going to share with you how a visit to the regional centre at the BIC will work if you get called there.
Hello, we look forward to welcoming you to our vaccination service at the Bournemouth International Centre. The service is being run by Dorset Healthcare, your local community and mental health trust. We'll do everything we can to make it a safe and positive experience for you, and we aim to get you vaccinated as quickly as possible. To give you an idea of what to expect, here's Sally to walk you through the centre and explain what will happen when you get here.
Hello. Now you've booked your jab at the Bournemouth Vaccination Centre, we hope this video will help you to plan your visit and see how it will work when you get here. If you drive to the centre, you can park either in the BIC main multi-storey car park or in other town centre pay and display car parks. There are more details on our website, and there's also a bus stop at the front of the building. Please aim to arrive not more than 10 minutes before your appointment time. If you're a bit early, the best thing to do is wait in your car or somewhere sheltered nearby. It can be breezy on the cliff top. Before you leave your car, make sure you have your appointment confirmation with you. This may be a letter or an email on your phone, or even something you've jotted down on a piece of paper if you made your appointment by phone. Once you've parked, you need to make your way to the Purbeck Hall entrance, which is around the back of the building on the West Cliff.
Please don't attend the centre if you have any symptoms of COVID-19 or have been advised to self-isolate.
If you have mobility issues, we have a disabled parking area here, and there will also be a drop-off and pick-up bay. We have a strict entrance and exit layout to make sure you stay socially distant from others. It's really important that you follow the instructions and the flow through the building so we can keep everyone safe. You'll need to wear a mask or face covering while you're in the building, so now's the time to put it on. If you've forgotten yours, we'll provide one.
When you come into the building, one of our volunteer marshals will greet you and ask if you are feeling well and if you have your appointment reference. If you have any symptoms which could indicate COVID-19, you will be asked to leave the building immediately and advised to book a test. When you reach the front of the queue in the foyer, our reception staff will book you in and direct you to the main hall. There's another short queue as you come into the main hall. When you reach the front, a marshal will direct you to one of the pods, red, white or blue. You'll take a seat and a healthcare professional will take some details, ask for your consent to be vaccinated, and run you through what will happen next. After your clinical assessment, you'll be taken to the vaccination area to receive your jab. You'll be given a leaflet describing what you should expect following your vaccination. You'll also receive a vaccination card telling you when to book your second dose of the vaccine. Depending on the type of vaccine you receive, you may be advised to wait for a short while in the recovery area. This would be a great time for you to give us your feedback on your experience at the centre. We'll have details on how to do this on display. And that's you done. Just follow the signs to the exit and you can be on your way.
We hope you found this film useful and that you'll have a positive experience when you visit the vaccination centre. Thank you for protecting yourself and others from the effects of COVID-19. Together we can help turn the tide of this pandemic. Stay safe and thanks for watching.
There we go. So that's what a visit to one of the vaccination centres looks like, and that was the regional vaccination centre, the biggest one in our area. And of course, the most important thing is you mustn't just turn up at any of these centres, whether it's the GP-led one, the hospital ones, or the regional ones, unless you have an appointment. And if you do have any symptoms, then you definitely mustn't go there because there's a danger of spreading them around to other people. But hopefully you'll all be getting your vaccination soon if you haven't already, and that will be good to help us all stay safe and healthy into the future. Now it's time for the weather, and first of all the national weather. And today we've got a slightly different forecast. I'm actually going to show you the Saturday morning forecast from the Met Office, because having looked at the Saturday evening one and the Saturday morning one that covers the whole weekend, this was a better forecast with better charts. So it does cover a bit of earlier on Saturday, but I think it'd be worth watching this one rather than the other one that was on offer from the Met Office this weekend.
Hello, welcome to your wintry weekend forecast from the Met Office. A colder feel for all parts this weekend. An easterly wind picking up, bringing a significant wind chill and also some significant snowfall across parts of the east. We have amber warnings in place, one across Scotland, one across East Anglia and the southeast of England for Sunday. Let's deal with that one across Scotland first of all. It's been in place for a couple of days now and still in force until lunchtime on Saturday. We've seen some significant disruption here and just more snow falling, although it will ease a little bit overnight. More snow falling. It's already caused some significant disruption. Rain on the east coast of Scotland, parts of southeast Scotland, northeast England are also causing potentially further issues, and we have yellow warnings in place here. So staying pretty wet across that northeastern corner of the UK. The snow, as I say, perhaps easing a little bit, but still falling, mostly over hills at this stage, but turning perhaps increasingly to lower levels as we go through Saturday. Rain showers across northern England, they'll be on the heavy side as well, and some further for parts of Wales too. And with the wet weather over South Wales and southwest England, as it turns colder later in the night, so there's the potential for things to turn a little bit icy. It will be a colder night across the southwest in particular compared to recent nights. Obviously still pretty cold across Scotland where we've got the cold air in place and those strong winds exacerbating the cold feel, and also an extra hazard for that snow which continues to fall. Into Saturday then, and as I say, that snow perhaps easing somewhat, but still falling and getting down to lower levels across eastern Scotland, increasingly northeast England and southeast Scotland as well. Initially over hills here, but some snow coming to lower levels by the end of Saturday. Rain across northern England, parts of the Midlands, and some heavier bursts getting into East Anglia and the southeast. Many western areas, much drier. A few showers, yes, but should see some sunny spells coming through here. And as is always the case with an easterly wind, western areas will be favoured for brighter conditions, and probably that's where we'll see the top temperatures as well, 6-7 degrees. But generally, these temperatures on the low side for the time of year, certainly colder than it has been recently across the south. And add on that strengthening wind, it will feel a lot colder as well. A significant wind chill picking up on the east coast. And we're going to start to see more in the way of wintry precipitation as well. More sleet and snow. Eastern Scotland, northeast England turning to snow at lower levels through Saturday evening, but increasingly then further south, parts of Lincolnshire, more southern parts of northern England, maybe into the Midlands, possibly even a little bit through the night across Wales and southwest England. So further snow flurries likely as we go into Sunday, and that easterly wind pushing that wintry weather further west and again lowering those temperatures. That band of wintry weather from this weather front, that pushes away during the early hours of Sunday morning, but then eyes down across the near continent. This area of low pressure bringing moisture, and by Sunday we're all pretty much in the cold air. We've still got those easterly winds, and this little weather feature in particular could start to bring some heavy snow across East Anglia and the southeast. We're going to have, whatever happens, easterly winds bringing snow showers to parts of the east. So we have a yellow warning for snow and ice covering much of eastern Britain from Saturday afternoon onwards. But across parts of East Anglia and the southeast, the potential for some heavy snow and persistent snow as well through the early hours of Sunday morning and continuing through Sunday. East Anglia down across the southeast. There is some rain mixed in with that. It's not perhaps all clear cut. There's always going to be some uncertainty, but much of this is expected to be snow falling through Sunday, and it could really start to mount up in places as well. 5 to 10 centimetres of snow. Some places could see 20 centimetres of snow. So we've got the yellow warnings in place, but also then this amber area from Norfolk down through Suffolk, Essex and Kent. In this zone, 10 centimetres of snow, maybe 15, possibly as much as 20 centimetres of snow, combined with, again, strong winds. So that means blizzards, pretty treacherous travelling conditions on Sunday across parts of East Anglia and the southeast. Here's the bigger picture for Sunday. We'll see further snow showers across northeast England and eastern Scotland. They'll be kind of in bands, so some places seeing a lot of snow, some places may miss out and not see much at all. Much of the Midlands, Wales, southwest England, Northern Ireland, western Scotland looking largely dry and bright with some good spells of sunshine, but it's still going to be cold. If anything, it just gets colder through the weekend. These are the maximum temperatures on Sunday, struggling to get above freezing in some spots. And again, add on that wind, which could be gusting 40, 50 miles an hour across East Anglia and the southeast. That is going to feel raw with that snow falling as well. So as I said at the start, a wintry weekend, much colder for all of us, significant wind chill, heavy snow in parts of the east. Keep up to date with the latest from the Met Office. The warnings are on the app, they're on the website, and of course we'll continually keep things updated if you follow us on social media.
Thanks very much, Alex. And the conditions that Alex has described with that weather front coming from the east with the high winds and the very cold temperatures are exactly the type of conditions where the weather in our area is unpredictable, and it doesn't take much for that snow to spread from the east further into our area. So it really is a bit unpredictable for us over the next 24 hours. But as the week ahead, it looks as if it's going to be colder for the week ahead, with daytime temperatures not going above 3 degrees centigrade and actually being between 0 and 3 most of the week, but actually down as low as -1 daytime this coming week. So a chilly week ahead. Looking at travel and traffic and road disruption, that sort of thing, the works continue on Custom House Quay on the harbour side. There's still roadworks in Westham, not on the main road, but on the back streets for Southern Gas Networks. Fortunately, the works by the Rock Hotel, I believe, are now gone. And also there are some roadworks from Southern Gas Networks on the Preston Road near Chalbury Corner that'll be underway until the 25th of February, and they may cause some disruptions as well. If you're travelling on the trains this weekend out of Weymouth, I appreciate not many will be, but if you are going off to Dorset to get a vaccination or Bournemouth and you're doing it on the train, there are bus replacement services from Weymouth to Dorset South and Dorset West for the entirety of Saturday and Sunday. So that's our traffic and travel. There's not much to report on the what's on. Obviously, as soon as things start to open up again, we will give you an update on forthcoming things that are happening. But we are going to touch on another film release this week. And this week it's a bit of an action film. Well, actually a disaster movie to be precise. Greenland is a 2020 American disaster film directed by Rick Roman Waugh and written by Chris Sparling. The film stars Gerard Butler, who also co-produced the film, Marina Baccarin, Roger Dale Floyd, Scott Glennon, David Bennon and Hope Davis. The film follows a family who must fight for survival as a planet-destroying comet races towards Earth. Originally scheduled for a theatrical release in the cinemas in the United States earlier in 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic has put stop to that. The film has now been released, actually yesterday, on Amazon Prime in the UK and some pay-per-view channels in the United States of America. And they still plan for it to be released theatrically in cinemas sometime later this year, if at all possible. The story is that John Garrett is a structural engineer living in Atlanta, Georgia, with his estranged wife Allison and their diabetic son Nathan. He returns home to watch the near-Earth passing of a recently discovered interstellar comet named Clark with his family and neighbours. At the grocery store, John receives a strange automated phone call informing him that he and his family have been pre-selected for emergency sheltering. Concerned, he returns home just as comet fragments start to enter the Earth's atmosphere on live television. Greenland is rated PG-13 and was released on Amazon Prime yesterday, and as we said, hopes to have a theatrical release in cinemas later this year. And here it is.
Stay calm and stay in your vehicles.
What is it? What's going on?
Train derailed across the highway.
If you are hearing this broadcast, seek shelter immediately.
What do you think it is?
No idea.
Oh my God, John, go!
Shut in the back! Cover Nathan! The only thing people want to talk about today is this interstellar comet called Clark.
NASA's saying it appeared out of nowhere from like a different solar system.
This is a fragment entering the lower atmosphere.
3, 2, 1, and impact.
What is the explosion?
It's a chunk of rock. Rocks don't explode.
Yeah, tell that to the dinosaurs.
The sky's on fire.
Come on, let's go.
With the largest fragment expected to hit in less than 24 hours, space agencies are expecting an extinction-level event.
The greatest chance of survival are the bunkers in Greenland.
Where we're gonna go, gotta go now.
Okay. You're such a brave guy, you know that?
I swear I will get us into those bunkers. Because we're always gonna be together.
Greenland, rated PG-13, on demand everywhere December 18th.
There you go. Obviously the date on the trailer was wrong because things keep getting prepared and delayed, but it was released yesterday on February the 5th on Amazon Prime in the UK and other platforms soon. It's a typical disaster movie with lots of action, if you like that sort of thing. Well, we're almost at the end of the programme, and it takes me just time to remind you that if you want to join our regular service at All Saints Church tomorrow, it will be by live stream only. Currently there's no services in church, but that will be on all the usual channels at 9:30 tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, and you'll be most welcome to join that. There's another service on Tuesday evening at 5 o'clock, our evening service on a Tuesday, which will be live streamed as well. And of course our regular Saturday night quiz programme will start in about 35 minutes on this channel and all the other usual channels, and that's open to anybody who'd like to join us to have some quiz fun tonight on Saturday night. So until next week, I'll say if you can, stay at home and stay safe. If you've got to go out for your vaccination, make sure you do that safely too. And of course, if you've got any signs of coronavirus, ring up and get yourself a test and make sure that you look after yourself. And so until next week, stay safe, and I will see you again then at 6 o'clock next Saturday.
Look them in the eyes and tell them you're doing all you can to stop the spread of COVID-19. Stay home, protect the NHS, save lives.